Okay, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, and in some cases, good morning. We have people calling in here from all over the world. Welcome, it's David Schmidt, and thank you so much for joining me today. So first, let's cover the science behind Nirvana, what it is, and how you're going to benefit from it, and how it's going to improve your health. So let's get started. Okay, now the reason why we chose the name Nirvana is because it's associated with a state of happiness. So that name seemed to be pretty fitting, and the response that we've gotten to the name has just been great. But this does, in fact, raise a question, and that is, when people are in a state of happiness, what type of changes are occurring in the brain and the body? Namely, how is the biochemistry changing? What type of hormones are being released? And how is this influencing our health? So happiness, as it turns out, reduces stress on the body, which is not a surprise. But there's some other very interesting biochemical reactions that occur that improve our health in some very dramatic ways. So we're going to take a look at this now. Now, the first thing is, when we're in a state of happiness, the body is releasing a series of chemicals, hormones called endorphins. And the endorphins are released from two separate sites. The first one is in the pituitary gland in the brain. Okay, so there's the pituitary over here. And then the second area is in the nerves. Now, what's interesting about that, the fact that the nerves will release endorphins gives you a clue to what it is that they do. And not only that, because nerves are ubiquitous and they're found all over the body, especially, of course, we have highly dense population of nerves in the skin, we can begin to take an educated guess that if we had a product for elevating endorphins, where the effects would show up and what the benefits might be. Now, what are endorphins? So endorphins are chemicals that our body produces naturally, and interestingly enough, they very closely resemble morphine. Now, of course, morphine is a very powerful drug that's typically administered for pain relief in hospitals. It's also highly addictive. So it's very interesting that endorphins, while they bear a very striking resemblance to morphine chemically, of course they're non-addictive and they're not going to harm us. But we can learn something about it. Now, there are 6 types of endorphins that have been discovered, 5 of which occur within the human body. And the ones that have been studied the most are the beta endorphins, and they're associated with pain relief and what's called a runner's high or euphoria. So in other words, the body is under stress from exercise and endorphins are released to help combat the stress, and actually, in fact, it makes us feel good. Now, not much is known about most endorphins, and the reason is because they don't last very long in the body. But of course, the principal functions are helping people feel good, promoting a state of happiness, euphoria, and of course, inhibiting pain. So in other words, you go through a strenuous workout and you say, man, do I feel good? Well, that's a release of endorphins. Now, we know that that feeling doesn't last very long, but when it comes, it feels awfully good. Now, let's say someone's been in a very serious accident. They've got a lot of trauma to the body. The body will release endorphins as a first response to help the body cope with the pain. One thing that I find is an astonishing fact is that naturally occurring endorphins produced by the body, by the pituitary and the nerves, are 18 to 33 times more powerful than morphine. That's absolutely astonishing. And it gives you an idea just how powerful endorphins are. And of course, endorphins are involved in other emotions as well, not just happiness, but feelings of love and attraction, sexuality. So when people are in a romantic relationship, they feel attracted to one another, they're in love. This is a change in brain chemistry, and it has to do with endorphins. So we could say that endorphins are very powerful, naturally occurring chemicals that have a lot to do with very positive emotions in the body. But as you guessed it, there is a problem. If endorphins are so powerful, how come we experience pain? If endorphins are so powerful, how come we're not happy all the time? Well, there's a really good reason for that. Endorphins have what's called a short half-life, meaning that once they're produced, they don't last very long in the body. So we would get temporary relief of pain with endorphins. When we get that feeling of romance, it doesn't last very long. So this is exactly why when you go to a hospital, you're not administered endorphins for pain relief, because the effects simply wouldn't last long enough. If we take the opposite of happiness, which would be depression, the reason why endorphins are not used as a treatment in depression, again, is because people would only get a few minutes of relief, so it hasn't been practical. That is until now. And this is where Nirvana changes everything. So let's take a look at how the Nirvana system works and how you're going to benefit from it. So Nirvana has two components. The first one is a patented and proprietary oral supplement that's completely natural, and it's exclusive to LifeWave. More on that in a moment. And of course, we have a proprietary LifeWave patch that goes with the Nirvana oral supplement. One of the things that's so exciting about this is that this is actually the first time that a patch and oral supplement have been designed to work off of one another biochemically. Now, the core central system that we have is probably the next closest thing, where we have theta 1, and that's designed to improve immune function, elevate growth hormone, elevate nitric oxide, and we have the Eon patch, which helps reduce stress. So they're synergistic with one another, but they don't work along the same biochemical pathways. So this is really the first time that we've had a oral supplement and a patch that are designed to work off of the same biochemical pathways to amplify the effects of one another. And the results are incredible. So the first thing that's important to know is that this is the first product of its type on the market where we can elevate endorphins and then keep them elevated, and beta endorphins specifically. This is all done through 3 ingredients that occur in Nirvana that are all natural. The central one is a natural seaweed extract. So what we're doing is we're providing a natural source of endorphins, and then we're using a catalytic system to recycle those endorphins and keep the endorphin levels elevated. Now, this is so effective that when we do blood tests, we find that endorphin levels are still elevated 24 hours after a Nirvana pill has been taken. Now, it takes some time for the ingredients in Nirvana to build up blood levels. So most of you are going to experience results your first week, but let's say you had someone that was in a state of depression, it might take them 3 weeks to get the benefits. So it really depends on your current state of health. But the really exciting thing is that once you elevate the endorphins with Nirvana, they stay elevated. So this is the first product of its kind. Now, the Nirvana patch is designed specifically to elevate endorphins that are associated with feelings of happiness, And again, this is the first time that we've had a patch and oral supplement that work together so intimately. So the question is then, what would you experience with the Nirvana system? And we'll talk a little bit now about the clinical studies that we have for Nirvana. Now, I like to think that all of our products are remarkable, and they certainly are. And we've gotten remarkable results with Nirvana. As a matter of fact, we never want to release products that are ordinary. We always want to release products that are exceptional, so there's no competition. And I think we've done that with Nirvana, as you'll see. Now, just a little bit of chemistry. We're not going to get into this in extraordinary detail, just a little bit of chemistry. So we're talking about beta endorphins, and these are neurohormones, of course. And these are products of a precursor called POMC. And here's what's important for you to know about this, is that when we look at the chemistry, POMC starts to produce other hormones. One of them is ACTH. Now, ACTH has an influence on the adrenal glands, and it helps regulate cortisol levels. So when people are saying that they're using Nirvana, they feel at peace, they feel calm, imagine what a great effect this is having on balancing your nervous system and balancing your endocrine system. So in other words, it's reducing stress on your adrenal glands and on your body, and all sorts of benefits associated with that. Now, another hormone that's really interesting is melanostimulating hormone, and melanocortins are found in the skin. And what this would mean is that if Nirvana is elevating or having an influence on MSH and melanocortins, it means that we will see an effect occur in the skin. And more on that in just a moment. And this is very, very exciting. And I'll tell you a quick story about it when we get there. And then the last one is lipotropic hormone, or lipotropic hormone, and this has to do, of course, with metabolism of fats. Now, I got this question asked a little bit earlier, so I'll just address it now. No, we have not done a study to see if Nirvana contributes to weight loss at all. We're not making that claim. We're focusing our marketing efforts on using Nirvana as a mood enhancer to promote feelings of happiness and peace. But, always new research is forthcoming. So what are the typical benefits that we might associate with endorphins? Well, certainly pain relief is the most common. But what we're promoting with this, based on our clinical studies, is that Nirvana helps people achieve a state of calmness and peace, reduction in stress, incredible ability to handle very stressful situations, and keeping people in a state of happiness. Now with that, because we're reducing stress on the body, we reduce inflammation. So as a result, Nirvana has anti-aging benefits. So you'll get an immediate benefit in terms of your mood, and you'll get long-term benefits through reduction of inflammation. There's even evidence that it will help to reduce fever. And very interesting is the promotion of nerve connection. We haven't done work on this, but as many of you know, I do research into the treatment of diabetic neuropathy and neuropathic conditions, and may be interesting to explore the use of Nirvana in the future as a potential adjunct treatment to neuropathy. Now, quick story. When we were looking at Nirvana, we almost marketed it with Alavida. And this is because the properties that Nirvana has on improving the quality of the skin is so powerful. But we decided to go with mood enhancement because we didn't have a product like this and the results were so powerful. And I'm going to share with you some clinical data in just a moment. But here's something very, very interesting. because there's never been a product on the market before to elevate endorphins and keep them elevated, it really wasn't possible to measure these effects before. First, we'll talk about skin. Now, as I mentioned, endorphins are produced in the pituitary gland in the brain, and they're also produced in the nerves. And nerves are found pretty much everywhere, and in very high density in the skin. So if endorphins are being released into the skin, what effects would they have? Well, as it turns out, something amazing happens. Endorphins are capable of increasing collagen production, and as a result, we also increase the thickness of the skin. So the benefit associated with that is reduction in wrinkles and improvement in tightness and firmness of the skin. So if you're using Nirvana for a period of 4 to 8 weeks, do not be surprised if you notice that you're getting less wrinkles and your skin is getting tighter. Not a bad side benefit at that. But let's dig a little bit deeper into this, and this gets so exciting because collagen is the primary protein in the body. And as we age, collagen production slows down. It starts to slow down by age 25. And collagen is what helps the body retain moisture. It acts like a sponge. So just think of Jell-O, the way Jell-O holds water. That's collagen. Now, if we can turn back on collagen synthesis, which Nirvana will do, that means we have a very powerful anti-aging mechanism. We can help the body hold more water, prevent dehydration, and this has all types of beneficial effects on slowing down the aging process. So I think what we'll discover in years to come is that this is a very powerful anti-aging product. So the best of both worlds. From initial use, you get this incredible improvement in mood, feelings of happiness and peace, but yet long term, you're getting all of these really exciting benefits. And it helps you look younger too. Now, another interesting thing about beta endorphins is that they regulate skin pigmentation, which of course this would even out the skin tone, and it regulates hair growth. Now, I'll be very clear that we haven't done a long-term study to see what would happen with Nirvana in regrowing hair. But this is something that we're going to be looking for in the coming months, people reporting to us, because it theoretically can be an effect of using Nirvana. Now again, I'm just sharing this with you for your own personal information, but the way we're marketing Nirvana is as a mood enhancer. So the first thing is the Nirvana supplement. You're going to take 2 tablets per day. They're very tiny. And you can take them both at the same time or split them up. I like to take Nirvana with lunch and then with dinner. And what it's going to do is elevate the production of endorphins to improve your mood. Most people within the first few days to a week are going to feel a greater sense of calm and well-being. And with continued use, more benefits show up. Nirvana is made from completely natural materials. This is a natural seaweed extract, and it's stabilized so that this will produce sustained results. So in other words, the compounds will stay in your system for 24 hours. And there's no drugs, completely natural. The Nirvana patch is designed to complement the Nirvana oral supplement by elevating chemicals in the brain, such as endorphins, to improve the mood. Of course, the patch is a LifeWave patch, and it works by stimulating the skin with light to produce these reactions. So again, no type of drugs or chemicals. Now, the most important part, what are people saying about Nirvana? Well, we've got a ton of testimonials already. Just wanted to share a few of these. This is from Suzanne, who is saying that when she's using Nirvana, it feels like true joy, such that the same kind of feeling when you're in love or looking forward to something. Wolfgang from Austria told us that on a mood scale of using Nirvana, he would give it a 10. So I'd say that's pretty powerful. Ken from Scandinavia told us that when using Nirvana, it made him feel happier. And I thought this was really cool. He said that it felt like he could overcome challenges. And we had many people write in telling us that they felt like they could do anything when they're on Nirvana. Sabine from the Isle of Majorca told us that when using Nirvana, it helped her through stressful experiences. And this is really a great benefit. We're all going to have some type of emotional stress that we're going to encounter in our family life or at work. And how great is it that we can have a product that helps us get through those stressful situations much easier. And then Lisa told us that she was running late for a meeting. She's from Germany, and she gets very agitated if she's running late because she's a very punctual person. But she noticed that when using Nirvana, she remained calm, and she went on to have a very successful meeting. So that was an experience that she had that she wanted to share with us. Thanks so much for joining me, and I'll look forward to hearing about your success story with Nirvana. Please send that to us through social media and through email. We would love to hear from you. Okay, good night, everyone, and see you soon.